Good morning. We are headed up to what's going to be our new vegetable garden. We no longer are going to utilize the garden that I have been using for probably 12 to 13, 14 years. We're going to switch things up, turn that old garden into kind of like a dry lot for the potential pasture, and we're going to turn this old dog run, which I've already started on, into the new garden. So we had a dog run up here. I came through, we cleared it all out, and I actually tilled it twice just to kind of break it up. It's very hard, very packed, broke up quite a bit. I'm actually kind of surprised there's not more weeds. There's a few weeds popping up, but me turning this over and bringing all those dormant weed seeds up, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't look worse than this. But today we're going to tackle putting in some rows, some permanent beds, and see if we can get this thing set up, because we are weeks away from warm weather planting. I could have already planted some cold weather stuff, but obviously my garden's not ready yet, so we're gonna tackle that today. And this new layout really makes a lot of sense for us in the way the property is laid out, because right now we currently have our chickens are clear over there, we got our goats over there. Gonna use that land as kind of a rotational grazing area. And then we got our wooded pasture lot that's actually down there by the front end pastures. We have our broiler chickens over there, and then we're gonna have the run for the broiler chickens just behind the shed that they're currently in. So in about 3 weeks, we'll actually swap them over to grass, and then they'll be on grass and kind of free range for the rest of their life. So all of our animals, that side, all of our fruits and vegetables are on this side. It's gonna make watering a little bit easier and kind of maintaining some other things. So I think this is gonna utilize the property a little bit better. So I'm gonna concentrate now on locating all of our beds and getting the right distances between all of them. And then from there, we'll kind of start stacking up some dirt. So my plan is to make 30-inch wide beds and 15-inch rows for walkways in between. So I cut a piece of pipe 30 inches so I know exactly this is going to be what my bed is going to look like. And then here's 15, cut a little notch in there, put some black ink in there just so I can space stuff out really easily. And I'm basing everything off of the barn, and the garden is pretty much pulled straight off this, but I'm going to go and I'm just going to start right here. And I'm going to pre-mark pretty much everything on the barn itself. I'm going to start with a 15-inch walkway along the edge here. And then from here, I will go 30. Actually, there, go 15. 30. That is perfectly aligned on the edge of this barn. So it came out precise. We'll have another 15-inch walkway on that far end. But now my plan is I'm gonna go ahead and grab screws and a screw gun, and I'm gonna put a screw on each one of those locations, and that's where I'll be able to tie the string to and pull it down towards some stakes I'll have on that side, keep everything square. All right, so I'm just gonna start on this end, just work my way down. I'm just gonna throw a screw in every one of these marks that I placed. Now for the other side, I'm gonna actually use some stakes to mark out my locations. And I happen to have a bunch of these small little stakes in my catch-all area, so I think these will work pretty good. I do want them in the ground fairly secure and snug, so I think it's gonna be about the right size. I get a good amount of depth on them. Not sure how many we're gonna need, but I will take all those. I do some longer ones if need be, but this should work. So you can see that stake right there. It actually ran a line previous to today from the back of the barn along this entire wall and then straight. So that way this is one continuous line, and that marks that location right there. So we'll be able to start staggering our next post off that post and work our way that way. So I'm just gonna use the same pole, and I'm gonna mark my 15. We'll drive our post in, and then we'll just keep going from there. And from here now, you can actually see pretty well the spacing of our rows. That was my last post at 13, so I'm gonna need another good 12 or 13 posts actually to finish this up, but it's looking pretty good. So I found a few more posts, but some of them had these wires attached to them. These are what I use for my firewood. These are exactly 4 feet. And when the tornadoes came, they tore down some of the trees. They hit these, which pulled them out of the ground. So I can still use them because I don't need the full 4 feet or anything longer. So I can get one staged here at our 15-inch mark. And then I'll just use the other side at our 30 inches. Should work just fine. All right, now that I have every post along the other end, I can go ahead and start tying strings to these screws, and I'll pull them down to each post, and that'll give us our spacing for every single row and walkway. And I think what I'm going to do, just to save me from having to cut the string over and over again and tie all these, is I'm just going to pull to each one of these, and I'll just wrap it around, and then we'll go to the next one. Let's see, we'll wrap it around, and I'll pull it back. Then when I get to the next screw, I'll just kind of wrap it around a couple times. And go around the next one. And pull it back. This will save me a lot of time. Kind of hard to see, but the lines are getting laid pretty well. There you go, you can kind of see that a little better. But ran out of string at that point, so I got some more. I gotta go get it. All right, there we go. I had to end with some clothesline, but then we had some yellow line, some orange line, and the original white down there. But we have now 13 rows, all 30 inches in width, with a nice 15-inch row in between every one of them. So now my plan is really just to grab the rake. I'm gonna start raking some of the dirt out of the walkways and onto the beds, because eventually the walkways will be filled with mulch and things like that. So I'm gonna pull the dirt from there, bring it to the top, and then mulch will come at another day. So as I rake, and as I was laying the strings, actually, I was seeing a few little, chunks of wood, a couple rocks, things like that. So as I rake, I'm gonna go ahead and be picking those up, toss them in the bucket, get them out of here while we work. It's kind of hard to see the strings, these light white ones, pretty hard to see, but so I'm basically just using the strings to pull the dirt from the walkways onto the beds, and I'll work this side this way, and then back and forth all the way down. And it should give me quite a bit of nice, loose soil for planting. So first row is done. I found out that my rake is exactly 15 inches. So I was able to drag right along here and create a nice 15-inch path. So that'll fit right between each one of these perfect. But I pulled all this dirt to the center. And I'm gonna pull half of this dirt to the center and then keep working my way down. So I'll just start, keep hammering away. Oh, you wanna come in here? You can come hang out over here. Just gotta be careful, okay? Okay, we're about half done with these trenches. They're looking pretty good. So there's our walkway, 30-inch walkway, 30-inch walkway, 30-inch, walk 30, walk 30, walk 30. And they turned out pretty darn well. It's just taking a lot longer than I thought to rake that dirt from the walkways up, back and forth. It's the top 1 or 2 inches is pretty loose, and then anything below that is pretty hard. So I'm trying to really hit it with the rake and pull that loose stuff up, just so I create a little bit of a divot and get some extra soil up on top. I'm not all concerned about the height of these rows, because over time, there'll be more compost added, there'll be roots left inside, there'll be just other stuff that'll slowly add to that. And then obviously the walkways, we'll throw our mulch in there and that'll just be adjusted anytime we add some new ones in there. But we've got that half still left to do, but this is looking pretty good. And actually we're just under halfway done, because I got 6 rows done and there's 13 of these here. But so as I was pulling up some of these dirt piles, I'm hitting these little voids, and then sure enough, check this out, I got little frogs living underneath the dirt. I pulled a bunch of these out already. Word got out that there's frogs in the garden, so the kids are gonna come snag them all up, but I've got every single one of our rows now complete. This is the last one here. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually taking the rake and running it down the tops and giving it a nice flat surface. So I'm up to about right here. And then I have not done this one yet. So that's the dirt from this side, that side, and then I'll flatten it out to give it a nice flat 30-inch piece of land for the vegetables. And then we'll get some mulch in here. Mulch will not happen today. I'm exhausted already, but I think I will have enough time to go ahead and tackle flatten all these out. The centers, the lanes, they got packed down really well because I was walking in those as I was raking back and forth. So those got packed down really nice. Plus the kids now are using the lanes, tracking frogs. But yeah, I'm gonna top off the rest of these, get them flat, and probably be calling it pretty close to good. Oh, there's one right here.
Oh, yay, a big one. Let me catch it.
Oh, it's coming up this lane. He moved over. You got him? Cool.
I got a big one and a tiny one. He jumped out.
Uh-oh.
Too big.
The baby one?
Don't let the baby one get out. I'm not. Keep him like that. We need something as big as that.
And as I'm flattening the top surface out, it's actually dropping dirt down the sides, filling the voids, because as I stacked it, it was only getting to be about 24, 22 inches in spots. But then now that the dirt is sliding to the sides, it's filling in that last close to 38. It's not perfect quite yet, but we'll work on it. We are done. We got them all dug out, all leveled out. Rest of the garden will come another day. We'll call this video good for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, later.